Welcome everyone today. Excuse me. Here we are all in lockdown except for lovely Lydia. She's having freedom, but hope we're all well. At least the sun's shining at the moment, which is good. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Sue Rashley, and I've been with the company. I started last year, and then of course lockdown happened, so it's been off and on, and you know, at the moment we're all online, and that's the only way we can be, but I'm always here. You know, you can give me a call on my mobile if you need anything, but once the lockdown is over, hopefully I can come out and visit you all, and we can do some practical training as well, which would be really good face to face, because it's and you've got to excuse me, I'm not computer savvy, so this is my first Zoom giving a class. I've done a lot of sitting on the other end and training, but this is my first time doing it, so please excuse me if I lose you or something, or I do something wrong on the computer. So today we're going to be learning about the SRC peels, which is our next level up from your basic peels that you've been already working with. So this is going to take you to another level and offering your clients that next step up, and you can actually now target for a specific treatment. So we're going to do a basic training of it. Unfortunately, we can't do a practical, and you can have a feel of it and work with it, but once the lockdown's over, we'll hopefully get to that side of things too. So like I said, today we're going to do the SRC training in the peels, and we'll start from here. So as I said, my name is Sue Rashley, and I've worked in the industry for about 40 years now, and been a beauty therapist, had my own salon, then went into BDM, working on the road, and also in education. So since the day I've left school, I've always worked in the beauty industry, never anything else. So I have a real great passion for the beauty industry. I love it, and hopefully I can relay that over to you guys, and we can share and offer each other support through these times and when we're out of these times. Okay, so our next slide, let me go there. So, okay, so as I said, I've done that already. I've introduced myself, so we'll go from here. So today we're going to learn about the treatments. Okay, so we'll have a brief overview on the SRC treatments and what they are about, and who we can target them to. Okay, so SRC stands for Skin Resurfacing Complex. Okay, it refers to the progressive and superficial resurfacing of the skin, changing the surface texture and giving an overall great complexion and appearance. So you can do these as a treatment, one-off, or you can do them in a pack of treatments. And towards the end of the training, I've got some sort of treatment programs that you can have a look at. Okay, so it stimulates the growth of the epidermal through removing damaged layers of the stratum corneum. Also incorporates latest scientific delivery systems, and it's safe and effective, and it's available in 3 classifications. So you can target, and you've got your environmentally damaged, your hyperpigmentated skin, and your problematic skin. So in the past, traditional peels were quite aggressive, or they actually went deep, and there was a lot of downtime. This is really because of the delivery, the unique delivery system, it helps to do the job without any of the traumatic downtime that some peels can cause. So this is where NIMUE very much differ in its technology because of the unique delivery systems that we have. And we'll go and talk about that as we go along in our treatments, in our slides. Okay, so all three of the SRC treatments have been scientifically formulated and with a complex of certain acids. So each one has a different formulation, so it can target different skin concerns. So this is where it's taking that level up from your the bioactive peel that you're doing. So, you know, so the bioactive peel can be given to anybody. So anyone can have a bioactive peel, and it's quite a very safe, and it's the first level, or it's the introduction to peels. Well, this one now, this SRC, is the skin resurfacing complex. Sorry, does someone want to ask me something? Oh, I can hear.
Don't worry, it's Roslyn just joined, so I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
So yeah, that's all right. Yeah. So yeah, so this one now is going to target. So you can actually work with your client and target their specific concerns. Okay. So and then you use a different neutralizer, unlike the one that you use in bioactive. It is always followed with the neutralizer plus, because not only is it a neutralizer, but it's also a treatment in its formulation. So again, we'll talk about that when we come up to the neutralizer, and I'll explain the difference in that. Okay, so the benefits of your SRC treatments are reduction in appearance of fine lines, wrinkles on the face, around the mouth and eyes, rough skin texture, enlarged pores, acne and various levels of acne, hyperpigmentation, again, various levels, and uneven skin tone. Okay. Okay, so the key focus of the three classifications of the SRC is, the first one is your environmentally damaged skin. So this is the one that we would use for people that have got environmental damage or your anti-aging. So this is an anti-aging peel. The next one is your high pigmented for hyperpigmentation skin. So this is formulated to promote skin brightening and offer renewal in refinement of the skin. And then we have our problematic skin, which is formulated to help work more on the surface with the oil, so it helps with the decongestion, the refining and the softening, and reducing pore size, and antibacterial as well. So it's really helping with, so you can see that there's the three levels, and you can really target that specific treatments for people with certain concerns. Okay, so let's have a look at what causes or trigger some of the environmental damage, hyperpigmented and problematic skins. So what we're going to look at is the three different levels of the skin and the concerns that people have, and how we can incorporate these peels with them. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is your environmentally damaged skin. As we know, there's two forms of aging. You've got your environmental aging, which plays a very important part, and then we've got genetic aging, okay? Genetic aging is something that it's part of our DNA, and it's going to happen. We can't stop that process, but we can help, you know, sort of reduce it or slow it down. But environmentally aging is a lot of mostly why things do happen to our skin, and we can actually help prevent that by how we treat and work with our skin. So, I mean, the processes of growing old and developing appearance are classified as old age, as we know, and we just want to look at the different degrees of how we can help reduce this. Okay, so typical characteristics are the loss of elasticity, thick or thinning of the skin. A lot of, as we get older, we find that our skin is much more fragile and thinner. And typical of women of that sort of 50 upwards, I mean, they went through a big stage in the 80s when all the glycolic acid peels came out, and they were very unstable, a lot of them, and they were really low pHs of 0.2, and they weren't buffered and things like that. And we used to, I mean, I don't know about any of you, but I remember back in the day when I was, you know, when they first came on the market, and we went nuts, and we were peeling and peeling and peeling, and you can see a lot of damage in the more mature women of today that they've suffered because, one, our environment, our sun is so strong in Australia, and then we'd peel our skin to, you know, right back to the bone almost, and off we go out in the sun and cause all sorts of problems which come to haunt you as you get older, and especially when you go through menopause. So hyperpigmentation is a part of aging as well, and uneven skin tone, fine lines and wrinkles, decreased barrier, so the barrier can be broken down, and skin inflammation can be a problem as we age. Okay, so you're looking at the 4 major factors of what causes environmentally damaged skin and aging. It's, like I said, your gene pool, so your DNA, your life story, your lifestyle, and your environment. Because you can sometimes, you know, you can look at a person that's 30 and you can look at a person that's, you know, maybe 50, and sometimes the 30-year-old has got more damage and more, you know, things happening with their skin because of the way they've treated it or the environmental damage that they have. So it is very important to look after your skin all the way through, you know, especially, you know, like I've got 2 daughters, and from the moment they were young teenagers, I got them on to look after the skin. And I think the younger ones today, they are very aware of, I mean, at school and things, they've always been taught that, you know, no sunscreen, no hat, no sunscreen, you can't go out to play. So they have looked after their skin a lot more, I suppose, in that way than what we did when we were younger. Okay, so looking at the difference between internal and external factors on the skin, as I mentioned, the aging process, they sort of put it down to about 5% of the damage that's done on your skin. I would probably say 5 to 10%. Well, environmental damage accounts for a lot of problems in the skin, from you know, smoking, alcohol, lifestyles, UV exposure, which is one of the worst things that we can do to our skin, but we all loved it when we were younger and wanted to tan. And but these things can be controlled and prevented, while the aging process is something that we can help, you know, the health of the skin to age well, but we can't really stop that process of the natural aging of the skin. And if anyone wants to ask questions or stop me, please do. Just put your hand up, because I know you're probably on mute or whatever. Just put your hand up and we can unmute you, or you can send a little note underneath. Okay, so we're looking at the internal and external again, so the aging characteristics, you know, wrinkles, pigmentation, skin thickness, skin texture, you know, internal or natural aging, you know, it's a finer, while with outdoor, you know, you look at people that have been sun lovers all their life, and how, you know, when they're older, how damaged the skin can be. So this is just sort of a little chart that shows you what you can expect between, you know, if you look after your skin well and protect it from environmental damage, and how it can be, you know, much kinder and not so leathery towards the end and things like that. But I know there's lots of treatments we can do, but if you prevent these things as you're aging, it makes it easier on us as beauty therapists to treat people. Okay, so this is what we call phase 3. So this is you know, you've already introduced NIMUE to your clients, and they're using their home care program, as you know, so they're, you know, their cleansers, and they're on their active products of their, either the lotion or the gel, which is giving them that, you know, AHAs and getting their skin used to it. They've probably done a couple of bioactive treatments with you, and now you just want to take them to the next level. So you're looking at a program of, depending on this, what's going on with their skin, we've got different skin programs for them. So the NIMUE-SRC, environmentally damaged, has been scientifically formulated with a complex of acids that specific in combination to, and it's concentrated on achieving desired results. So the formulation of your environmental SRC is different from your hyperpigmentation, and I'll show you, we'll go through the ingredients in a moment. So this helps to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, assist in improving dark spots or that sort of age spots that start to happen as we get older or show up. It smooths the skin, it provides radiance, it gives refinement, and it has a polarized water delivery system. So it's all about the delivery system. And again, I'll go through the delivery systems in a moment. I'm just going to go through the 3 different programs, and then we'll get right into the nitty-gritty of the ingredients and the delivery system. Okay, so hyperpigmented skin. We all know that this is one of the most, I think, hardest skin type to treat, you know, or skin condition, I should say. So it's one of those ones that really is sort of like, we, as a therapist, a lot of concerns that we get from people are pigmentation, and we really, there's so many things out there, and I always say you should never overpromise something, because, you know, if you overpromise something and then it's underdelivered, people get very upset and walk away. So it's something that's long term. You've got to work with it, and again, it is part of not just what you do in your salon, as we all know as therapists, it's what they do when they go home as well. So it's the home care that's incorporated with it. And if the client wants to work with hyperpigmentation or any form of pigmentation, and then their sun bunnies will really, it's a real difficult thing to treat. I mean, sun protection is one of the most important things that they must follow as well with any skin problems, but especially if they're trying to treat hyperpigmentation, because it's really only outdoing what you've been trying so hard to achieve, and then they go and turn it all around for you. So anyway, we'll look at this. Hyperpigmentation, so most difficult skin classification to treat. Okay, it requires long-term commitment. As I mentioned, you never overpromise something. This is sort of a program that you really should map out and give them like a series of treatments. And if you've got things like LED light or other equipment in your salon, this can be incorporated with them too. So you don't have to just, you know, just stay with one with the treatment of the peels. You can incorporate your LED lights, or if you've got laser machines or something like that. So you can give them a whole, what we call a holistic program, so they can have, it's a complete program to work with them and with their hyperpigmentation. So it's important to identify the possible trigger, and also to first look at the term, the skin color. So we need to classify what Fitzpatrick they're in as well. So, you know, able to then set out a program for them. Okay, so we're looking at the different skin colors. Okay, so you've got a wide range of skin. Now you've got to remember that NIMUE is a South African brand, so they do a lot more treatments with a more diverse and Fitzpatrick scale. And I mean, we in Australia now have got a huge multicultural population. So it's really good to know that you can treat most of the scales of the skin types and with safety and integrity when using these peels. Okay, so your typical colour, sort of amounts of melanin in the skin of the human skin has a red, yellow, blue, or brown tones. Okay, so I mean they're the 4 different types. Your red, oxygenated; yellow, your beta keratin; the blue, lack of oxygen; and brown, the presence of melanin. And we look at the different types, and a lot of people feel, or a lot of us Caucasian skin types, or Fitzpatrick scale of 1 to 2, tend to think that Asian skin or African skin is a lot tougher than our skin, but they're the skins that are a lot more delicate and easily to pigmentate or scar. So we really need to be very careful how we treat these skins and how we work and do our peels with them. But as I mentioned, these have got, again, a different delivery system, so they're very safe to use on all the scales of the Fitzpatrick scale of skin. Okay, so melanin is a Greek word that means black. Okay, it's an insoluble pigment and it accounts for our skin colour. So depending on our race,
is there something else I can help you?
Sorry, there's my phone talking to me. Thought I was, don't know why, that just, yeah, thought I was talking to it, I think. Okay, so, and when we go out in the sun, it determines how we tan as well. I mean, I'm sort of, you can see, I go out in the sun and I burn. I mean, it's just horrible, but, we all have that, the melanin in us, and it's our protection when we are out and exposed to UV, depending on our Fitzpatrick, how much melanin is formed in our skin. Okay, so here we have a melanocyte. It's a pigment-producing cell. It's located in the stratum germinatum of this, or like dry mouth. Okay, so it helps to it's produced when we go out into the sun. So it helps to block and stop the burning, but also can damage our skin too and cause pigmentation. So we really need to protect and understand that working with our pigmented skins, we need to give them a program, and as I mentioned before, really focus on the fact that they need to use SPF, as we know. Okay, so here we have the Fitzpatrick scale, your 1 to 6, and you've got, your 1 that always burns, 1, 2 that can tan, but very slowly tans, but usually burns first. Then you've got your skin Fitzpatrick 3, which tans averagely, but has mild sunburn. And then, your lovely olive skin, really olive skin or deeper colour skin that rarely burns, right through to your black skin that Fitzpatrick 6. But again, they say they never burn, but they do get skin sun damage and can suffer from skin cancers. It's just probably because their skin's so dark, we don't actually see how burnt it can get. And if anyone remembers Bob Marley, he died of skin cancer. So a lot of people have this thing that, the darker you are, the safer you are under the sun. Okay, so the NIMUE hypigmentation SRC is, again, scientifically formulated with specific acids. So it's going to be a different formulation to your environmentally damaged one. So we'll go through that. It helps to brighten the skin. It also, in its formulation, has got blocks in there to help with blocking melanogenesis and resurfacing pigmentation. Okay, also helps with lifting and again blocking the shuttling of the agents that happen to cause pigmentation on the skin. Also helps to exfoliate, refines, and it has a polymetric delivery system. So it has a different delivery system from the environmentally damaged SRC. Okay, so we have now our problematic skin. Okay, and this is for people that have got that large pores, open pores, breakouts, and you can even have people that, it doesn't matter what age group, because you have teenage acne and you have adult acne. So you can work through, even incorporate you might have someone that's mature, wants to do treat the anti-aging process, but also has got some hormonal breakouts and things because they're going through menopause or whatever. So you can design, different peels at different times for them to treat all those different concerns that they may have. Okay, so typical characteristics of problematic skin is always classified. A lot of people classify it as acne. It can affect all races and ethnic groups, and it can usually persists for many years through the 20s right through to the 50s. So as I mentioned, it can be adult acne or there's teenage acne as well. So, I mean, some people, it goes throughout their whole life. So it's a great treatment to use, and it can you can work it around, as I mentioned. You can work it around on doing one to every second week or something. One can come in for a bioactive, and then they can do a problematic, depending on the severity of the acne that you're treating, or they can have a high pigmentation one, and you can just mix it around so you can treat, because a lot of acne people or people that have suffered with acne do have the pigmentation too from the scarring of acne. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so let's have a look at the types of acne. So we've got your 3 grades here of acne. So you've got your mild form, which is your pustules and commodin, and it's not so inflamed, and that we usually class that as grade 1 acne. Then you've got your grade 2, which is a little bit more active and can tend to have milia, pustules as well, has a bit of inflamed skin and redness. And then you've got your grade 3, which can really be quite discomforting, painful as well, increased redness and higher levels of inflammation. So as therapists, you would work around your client and prescribe programs to suit their skin. Okay, so it helps to exfoliate and decongest, and again, the AHAs and the acids that are in this formulation is designed to work with that problematic skin. It has an antibacterial action. It improves skin texture and pore size, and it uses the polymetric delivery system. So like the hyperactive one, it's using the same system, and delivery system. And you can probably have noticed from the slide, the SRC environmental had a brush. These two have a sponge, so it's a different application as well, which we'll go through. Okay, so let's have a look at the delivery system that these two SRC offer to deliver the peels to the skin. Is there any questions so far? Is everyone okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so the first system we have here is your delivery system, which is known as your polarized water. Okay, so this helps to allow the, so when your cells, you lose water, the process, or it becomes an uneven surface, so things are delivered unevenly on the skin and can cause irritation and upset. So polarized water delivery system allows the cluster to be smaller and to be more uniform and allow it to deliver on a more even surface. So it's helping to contain the active ingredients as one, and allowing it to be delivered onto the skin as an even blanket almost. So it's not upsetting the skin, and especially when it's environmentally damaged, it can be thin in some places, it can be irritable in another place. So this helps to deliver the whole formulation in an even, safe way of going into the skin. Okay, so we have a look here. So higher levels of water in the skin, so it's a healthier skin barrier. It reduces downtime after you're given the peel, and it helps to repair the skin faster. It allows for a more even distribution through the skin with the acids and even penetration. It targets cells that are selected, and also it helps to release the active ingredients in the right places instead of just being more unstable. So you can see on the chart here on the slide, on the left-hand side, that's this sort of uneven, uniformed cells and water distribution. And then you've got the delivery system that helps to bring it all together and deliver it to the cells in a much more even blanket. So it's very much soothing and comforting on the skin without causing that irritation. And that's used in your environmental SRC treatment. For your high pigmentation SRC and problematic in skin SRCs, we use the delivery system called polymetric. Okay, so polymetric means, poly means many, metro or metric means many parts. So it is formulated together for a safe and effective peeling. So it becomes a system that allows for better penetration and excellent results. And it is a system for safe, effective peeling without causing irritation on the skin. And also, due to the activity of the AHAs, it delivers it in a very even skin tone and even balance on the skin, allowing for that problematic skin and that hyperpigmented skin not to feel so sensitized when it is applied on their skin. And how it does that is it is water-based, but it also contains sugar chain bonds. So it contains more, up to about 5 or more sugar chains that are bonded together with the active ingredients suspended inside those bonds. So when it hits the skin, it's all entrapped in there and it's slowly released through the application on the skin. So it slowly filters down into the right, even over the skin, and with a slow release, not being aggressive on the skin. And the carbohydrates or the sugars in the skin, our skin is familiar with that, so it accepts it in a very even way and creates a lovely even tone over the skin. And also it's safe, effective, and it also helps with that hyperpigmentation and that inflammation in the skin. So it's a slow release, not aggressive onto the skin. Okay, so the benefits, I've probably already mentioned it. It's water-based, it hydrates, it plumps the skin, and so it doesn't dry on the skin, doesn't make the skin feel very vulnerable, and it doesn't feel tight and taut on the skin. It's made up of sugars, so it the skin accepts it, it's energizing, it's safe and effective, it has an immediate effect, and it allows an even peeling. It allows an even distribution over the skin, so it prevents from that inflammation on the skin. So it's calm and it's soothing. And you'll find with, even in the home care products of NIMUE, in the products for problematic skin and for hyperpigmentation, has that same delivery system for delivering their active ingredients, because it has that even skin tone and that sort of water-based and soothing with that sugar chains, and allowing skin to take in the product slowly, because a lot of sensitive skins and hyperactive, hyperpigmented skins can, don't like to be have anything aggressive on them. They want to have more a gentle release into the skin. Okay, so let's have a look at the treatments of the SRC. So what we use when we're doing our treatments, and how we prepare the skin before we apply the peels onto the skin. So we do have an exfoliator. It's part of the SRC treatment. So we do have the tetraenzymatic exfoliating system. So this is a we've got your exfol unit, which, what's it called? The enzyme treatment. Sorry, that's it. The enzymatic treatment that we use in the bioactive
Exfoliating enzyme.
And that's it. Thank you. Exfoliating enzyme. But this one now is the next level up, and this is used for more higher sort of targeting your client and bringing taking it to that next level, because your exfoliating enzyme is a home care product too. So it's something that you take home, you know, you can introduce to client. This is an in-salon only treatment. So it has the two products that you put together. So it has a powder and a liquid. Okay, so it has a polymetric complex delivery system as well. So it, in the liquid activator, so it has that sugar-based active sugar bonds that help to deliver the active ingredients. It is a 3D gel. It has a moisturizing achieved, and it's has a lovely moisturizing feel. I've used it. It's absolutely fabulous, and it helps to entrap hydrated glycerins into the skin, and it has a really when you put it on, it's sort of soothing and tingling at the same time. So it's very stimulating, but cool and revitalizing. It's an amazing feeling on the skin. You do need a steamer with it because it is enzymatic. So if you have to have that sort of steaming effect to release the enzymes for the product to start to get activated. It has natural salts in there, and it helps to detach molecules and migrate into the skin, and has a long lasting moisturizing effect. It stimulates your ATP, prevents dehydration, promotes collagen production, and enhances the structural integrity of the skin and elasticity. So this is in the liquid activator. Then we have your powder activator, but sorry, we'll go in what the ingredients are in your liquid activator. You've got your pawpaw or papain, which is a enzyme derived from pawpaw, and it has that resurfacing feel to the skin and helps to exfoliate on the surface. Also has bromelain, which is from the pineapple, and again this helps to activate a natural exfoliation and helps to unblock your pores. Also has your baseball or or whatever you want to pronounce it, which is derived from chamomile, and that's anti-inflammatory, so it helps to calm and soothe skin. Has your sodium lactate, which is a natural moisturizing factor, acts as a humectant. So this comes from your milk produce. It has hyaluronic acid, botanical hyaluronic acid, which comes from a wattle plant, and it helps to, again, hydrate. And of course, allantoin, which is a very healing and very soothing byproduct. So it not only exfoliates, but it helps to rebuild and work with integrity of your protective barrier, your skin barrier. So you can see it's a very calm, soothing way to exfoliate, but also quite active. So it gives you, it keeps in mind the integrity of your skin. We also have the powder that you mix with it, and the powder has 2 enzymes, and so it has that oil-based enzyme, your enzyme, which is a maltodextrin polysystem. So it helps to reduce sebum, helps to remove or defat the skin and prevent clogging and clean the skin out. It also has your protease enzymes. Again, it helps to exfoliate or accelerate the exfoliating process. So it helps to detach oils found on the surface of the skin, helps to reduce oil and therefore control breakout. Also contains ascorbic acid derived from oranges. So it's antioxidant, it's skin brightening, and stimulates collagen. It also has your kaolin, which is your clay, and that's what gives it that, it goes on, and you can, you know, a lot of people complain that it takes so long to get off because it keeps reappearing. So when you put it on, you massage it into the skin, use the steamer, and then use like I like to use like a hot towel or something to just then really remove it. But the kaolin helps also to absorb your sebum, helps to really clean the skin out, purifies, but it also soothes. So that is your exfoliating treatment that you use before we start our peel. Okay, so mixing it, what we do is you've got 2 products. You must shake your liquid activator to activate all this, the ingredients, and we mix 1 scoop of powder, which is about 25 ml, and we do 10 pumps of liquid. And you mix it into a small paste, and we use a brush and we paint it over the face, neck, and décolleté, because it does go right down to there. I've used it, and it's done just before we go into, and you get your steamer happening, and once the steamer starts, do not pre-mix it. A lot of people think, oh, I'll pre-mix it to save time. Do not pre-mix it. Mix it just before you go to apply it, because it will, because it goes on and it stays on for about 10 minutes. So you've already activated and it's sitting there, and it'll lose its potency. So you must mix it just before you apply it onto the client. It is a lot of product, and a lot of salons have said it's way too much. So if you do have it and you're using it, you know, some salons tell me they go half. You know, they use, instead of the 25 ml or 1 scoop, they'll use half and 5 pumps of the liquid. That's something that you will work out in your, you know, when you're working with it. But make sure it's got that don't make it too runny. It has to have that lovely, you know, that sort of consistency where you can massage it. It's not going to drip all over your client and run down behind their ears or anything. So it's not so much like a porridge. It's in between a liquid and a porridge. So it's got a lovely texture to it where you can, when you're massaging it. So it's like a smooth paste. But like I said, it is a lot of product. And I find that when I did the 25 and 10 pumps, I found it was way too much, and I was right down on the deck today and almost, you know, could do the whole body. So I next time I halved it and it was much better. So that's something that you will work with and allow for yourselves to accommodate for your client. Okay, so we come now to our SRCs and the 3 SRCs, what they have in them, how they're the guidelines of them, and so they come in the little pods. And again, some of the girls have said a pod goes a long way too. You can, if you want to, get 2 treatments out of 1 pod. But if you do that, you must seal back that pod, maybe put foil over it, seal it, and put, you know, I mean, if you've got a few that day, you could maybe, you know, finish it off, but don't leave it sitting for too long, or, you know, days on end. But you know, it all depends again on how much you use on, you know, what areas you're doing, how big the client's space is too. I don't know, but yeah, it is a lot of product in there. So your environmental damage, key active ingredients is your glycolic acid, your lactic acid, your pyruvic acid, mandelic acid, and citric acid. And we'll go into those acids and where they come from in a minute. And the delivery system, again, for your environmentally damaged is your polarized water. So that's the delivery system, and they're your key active ingredients. When you look at your SRC hyperpigmented skin, you can see a lot different active ingredients. So again, as I mentioned, 3 different peels addressing different areas of concern for your clients. So you can custom now your client's needs. In your hyperpigmented, you've got glycolic acid plus amorpheric glycolic acid, which means it's encapsulated in oil. Okay, so it's a slow release. It's a low molecule release of glycolic acid. You have lactic acid, pyruvic acid, citric acid, phytic acid, and you have sodium glutamate diacate. We'll go into that in a minute. There's a longer list of different AHAs or acids that are making up the formulation of your hyperpigment. And again, the delivery system to this is your polymetric delivery system. In your NIMUE problematic SRCs, you have, again, your 2 different forms of glycolic acid. You have lactic acid. You have your pyruvic acid, your acylic acid. Also here we have salicylic acid, which is a BHA, your willow bark acid, and your marigold acid. So again, you can see we are treating a different concern, and you've got your polymetric delivery system. Okay, so let's have a look at the different acids and actives and their specific functions, why and how they work. Okay, so we all know glycolic acid. It's been around for a long time. It is a very small molecule, so it actually penetrates very deeply, and it has a quick exfoliating treatment. Glycolic comes from sugar, so it's usually from the sugar cane. It can be made biotechnology as well. Okay, so we use we all know the golden pH for NIMUE in our treatments, which is the pH 3, and that is a safe delivery system. So it's everything is encapsulated. It's always the integrity of our acids are not free flowing. They don't get into the skin. They're not unstable. They're all encapsulated and with the pH of 3. So it's a even and not so aggravating on the skin, but not too high that it's not doing anything. So they found that the pH of 3 is what we call the golden pH, and it allows for that safe and effective peeling system for us. So we have the 2 glycolics. As I mentioned, the amphoretic glycolic acid is encapsulated in an oil, so it's water-free, and it is a very low molecule, so it also is very slow in its release, so it's very calm and soothing into the skin. So it's not very direct, it's more allowing a slower release into the skin. And I don't know if anyone's looked at the new latest peel that we have out, and that's all in that new sort of peeling system as well. We also have your lactic acid, which is your lactose derived from milk, usually sour milk, and that is a larger molecule, so it is more on surface, and it is very calming on the skin too, and it also is our skin tolerates it quite well because we do have that lactic acids. We do take them into our bodies a lot, so our skin can relate to it and works well with it. It has a brightening effect, and it promotes hydration. A lot of lactic acid is used in moisturizers and things as well because of the hydration levels that it has on the skin. Yttric acid it's called a chemical peeling agent, but it also can be derived from grapes as well. So it can come from both. So you can make it as a formula chemical peel and biotechnology, or it does actually come from grapes, fermented grapes, or and honey as well. So this is helps to reduce the cohesion between the chronocytes. Also, it's a very small molecule, so it has a very deep penetration. It's very mild, and it usually does not cause redness or inflammation in the skin. We also have mandelic acid, which is derived from almonds, okay, and this from almond milk and almonds, and this inhibits pigmentation. So this helps to slow down the process of pigmentation. It stimulates cellular turnover and helps to do that exfoliation. So it's again a natural process. With your phytic acid, it is derived from rice, and it has a Chetling agent, so it works on sort of working with copper extract into the skin and things, so it helps with minimizing pigmentation and evening out skin tone as well. So it helps to exfoliate, and with the hyperpigmentation also has a very low potential for irritation on the skin. TGA, in short terms, again works on the, so that's why you see these two acids, you find them in the hyperpigmentation SRC, because again it helps with the distributing of the metals that in the skin, like your coppers and things. So it helps with the melanin and helps to give the more even skin tone into the skin. It is an antioxidant, and it is skin lightening, so it helps to brighten and lighten skin. Salicylic acid, which is a derivative of, it is a derivative of willow bark as well, so the two go hand in hand. These aren't AHAs, these are BHAs. So they actually work on oil, so they love oil. They work on the surface of the skin, they eat up the oil, and that's usually where you might get a peeling effect from, where the skin can shed because of the salicylic acid. It is an aspirin, it is derived from aspirin as well, so it's something that you might need to look at with your client if they have allergies with aspirin or anything like that. But again, it is topically applied, so it doesn't penetrate deeply. It is surface peel. And normally, I mean, they don't give percentages, but from the training I've done in you know, with peels and things, normally they're not at high percentages, so it's not overly, you know, and we don't really get a peeling effect with this, with NIMUE, so it's going to be at a very safe level, and because you've got that delivery system, it is going to be a lot more gentle release onto the skin. So salicylic is anti-inflammatory. It has a superficial agent of peeling, and it clears pores. Antibacterial as well. Willow bark increases cellular renewal. It's exfoliating and anti-inflammatory. So they're very much more working with that antibacterial and cleaning of the oil build up on skin, anti-clogging. Okay, so this the next acid is derived from wheat, and you know, this is again antibacterial. So you'll find this in the problematic SRC. It has that helps to unclog the skin, and it helps to reduce the ACNE inhibitor into the skin. So it's very good for deep cleaning, cleansing out the skin. Citric acid is again quite been around for a long time, and as you know, in the bioactive, you've got your glycolic, your citric, and your lactic, so your three main AHAs. Citric acid is skin brightening, and it's usually derived from a citric fruit, so lemon, oranges, any of those acidy fruits, and it's again a mild exfoliating agent, but also brightening. Marigold as extract is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. So these actives that are now put in with your acids are to help deliver and calm the skin too. So allowing your acids to do their job, but also keeping in mind the integrity of the skin. So your marigold is very anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, but also has a light exfoliating treatment as well. Oops, sorry. Okay, so let's have a look at where we go and how we do our treatments. Okay. Okay, so we've got your professional treatments, how we start, and we use our cleansing gel and our conditioner. Okay, so these are in your professional range. So this is part of your treatment and how we do our steps. We've got your hydro lip protection. We use this to once we've cleansed and before we put on the peel, we protect the skin, the more gentle areas, the fragile areas, so around the eyes, around the lip area, just so in case you get the peel a bit too close, this will put a barrier around those areas, okay? Okay, we use our enzyme treatment, our tetraenzymatic exfoliating treatment, remembering it is, you know, the application, 25 mils or 15 mils. Again, play with it because it is a lot of product you're using there. And you use your steamer, but no ozone on there. And you apply it onto the skin and you massage it in with the steam and allow that enzymes to do their work. Okay, so when we're using the exfoliating treatment, we've got combination skin. We leave it on for a total of 10 minutes. We steam for around 4 minutes of that and massage and massage and steam for 6 minutes. So in all that it's on for 10 minutes, steaming by itself without doing anything, 4 minutes. So that softens the skin, starting to lift and do the exfoliation. So when you massage, you're actually sloughing off any dead skin cells. And also you're giving a bit of a massage. So you're sort of giving a treatment as well for the client. And it's enjoyable to have that hands-on as well. Oily or acne skin, we would steam a little bit longer, so 8 minutes of steaming without massaging. Okay, so you don't want to, and only steam massaging maybe for about 2 minutes. So you don't want to overstimulate the skin, allowing just the steam to do its work. Dry skin, you would steam for 2 minutes and then massage for 8 minutes. All in all, it's on for 10 minutes. Any skin that's excessively dry, we'd probably then only maybe steam for 6 minutes. So just not as long, and steaming for 2 minutes and then 4 minutes and massaging. Okay. Okay, when we apply our active peel, we're looking at the environmentally one. So it comes, you have your brush and your pod. Again, the main active ingredients are your lactic acid, your glycolic acid, your citric, mandelic, and your pruvic acids. So it's going to help to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. We're going to smooth the skin. So we decant into a glass container. We apply an even layer to the face, neck, and décolleté with a dry brush. So the skin is dry, the brush is dry. We leave on for 5 to 10 minutes. Again, you will build your client up to the 10 minutes. And you know your client, you've worked with them, so by the time you're bringing them over to SRCs, they're probably using your NIMUE home range. So they've done their phases, you know, at home. They've moved up the scale. You might have done a couple of bioactives. So their skin is now ready to move into the SRCs. So you judge the integrity of the skin. You will work out between 5 to 10 minutes. If they're feeling the tingling in that, leave it on 5 and build them up to no more than 10 minutes. How we apply it. So we use, again, as I mentioned, it can cause a tingling sensation. So you can have a fan if you want, depending on the client. We start on the forehead and we work across. Okay, so it's working across the forehead, under the cheeks, neck, and then across to the décolleté. Can everyone see that clearly? Yeah, so that's how it's done. If you need any diagrams or that, we can send them out to you, or there is a lovely manual if you need it in paper form, but we can, the diagram, we can, you know, email it out or send it out to you some way if you need to see it up closer. But it's, just remember, you don't go over it. It's just the one layer working around with the brush. Okay. And here we have, so the treatment guide and frequency. Okay, so depending on the Fitzpatrick scale of the skin, Okay, so when in South Africa, they say phototype. So we tend to be more Fitzpatrick scale of the skin. So your 5, your 6, your 5, and your 4, you would do one treatment every 4 to 6 weeks, application of about 5 minutes. These are guidelines. As therapists, you are qualified and you know your client. You can then work with your clients. Some clients can only handle 5 minutes or only want 5 minutes. Others you can work and you can understand and watch the skin, read the skin, and it will speak to you. The skin is a living organ. It speaks to you. It tells you how it's coping. So you can work with the client. You can bring it up to, start them at 5. Next time they come in, you might bring it up to, might do 2 at 5, and the next time you build it and you build it. Okay, so with the ages, because environment, when you think about it, although this is for anti-aging, we do have environmentally aging too, and usually the group of 20 to 30 is that prevention they're starting to look at prevention, not so much cure. They want to slow it down, and they're the ones that might have abused their skin a bit too much, like going out in sun or partying too hard or not looking after the skin so much. So we want to treat their skin and help to reduce fine lines that might be caused through dehydration and things like this. So one treatment every 6 weeks, because it is a younger skin and we don't want to overstimulate, but we want to start to build the integrity and the strength of their skin, and 5-minute application. Someone that's 30 to 40, we're starting now, they're starting to see the signs of aging as well as environmentally aging. So they can do one every 3 weeks, and then you can build the skin timing with them. So starting them off at 5 minutes and then building them up to the 10 minutes. And someone with ages 40 upwards, they might want to do one once a month, or again, as I said, you look at their skin, you know that person, you've built a rapport with them, you can look at their skin and they might do it every 3 weeks. Again, you build them up to the 10-minute application. Okay, the reason they say probably every 4 weeks, because the more mature the skin is, as we know, the slower the turnover of the cells are. So sometimes we can try and overstimulate it too much, and then it can become irritable. And usually that 50-year-old skin plus is perimenopausal too. So the hormonal changes in the skin can be causing all sorts of things. Some people breeze through it, others find their skin is oversensitive or very dry or over oily. So again, as I mentioned, and I'm probably repeating myself 100 times, we are therapists, we are qualified, we've trained, we work with the client's skin. These are guidelines. These are to help you to follow a guideline, but not one person is the same. So we're not all textbook. We work, and that's the beauty with NIMUE. We can work with it to suit our clients and individually prescribe a treatment for our clients. Okay, hyperpigmentation skins. We can see we've got a different application now. Okay, so active ingredients is your lactic acid, your TGD, your glycolic, your citric, your mandelic, and your phytic and pruvic acids. Okay, so these are designed now. We're working on brightening. We've also got the cellular turnover with the glycolic and the citric, so we're working on that too. But we're also offering a different level of peel, because we're wanting to help suppress the buildup of melanin, and we want to help to even tone the skin. Okay, so we want to brighten and even tone the skin. and a lot of the time it's sometimes too, it's a build-up of dead skin cells and they get an uneven skin tone. So we want to just help clear and give a more even skin tone to the skin. We also have that different delivery system again. So we remember it's that polymetric delivery system. So a really gentle delivery system in the skin and an even blanket over the skin. So we again decant the content into a glass bowl. We apply an even layer, one layer, not doubling up, over the skin, over the face, neck and décolleté. So as you notice, you can do quite a large area of the body. Many years ago, a lot of the old-fashioned glycolic peels and peels that we used to do, you could only do the face at one time. You couldn't do more than the one area. But with the delivery system of these products and also the ethical encapsulating of the active ingredients, it's allowing you to do a large area of the person. So again, it's that magical pH of 3, your golden pH. Okay, so we leave this again for 5 to 10 minutes, and always remember we've got our neutralizers plus that we neutralize with. Okay, application. Okay, this is done in a more soothing way, and it's done with your you've got these 2 sponges, and we actually circle. Okay, so it's in the same, we always start at the forehead, because that's at least the place that's going to be irritable. The neck and décolleté is usually the last place, because these are the thinner areas and they can tend to flare up a little bit quicker. So we start at the forehead, we work our way around jawline, do the cheeks down the center, and then onto the neck and décolleté, and it's in that circle. Okay, so you've got the 2 applicators. I'm sorry I don't have them with me, and you just work them around. Okay, it can cause tingling, a sensation, especially hyperpigment skin or a sensitized skin, so they can feel it a little bit more. Just ask them, stay with them. You never leave a client alone when you're doing more cosmeceutical treatments. You shouldn't leave them at all anyway, but one, you know, they don't understand, and you always should pre-tell them what they might expect to feel, because if you don't, they can tend to, you know, get a bit frightened if they've never had a treatment before. And if they've had the bioactives, they're so much more gentle. These are a lot more stimulating, so they will feel this one compared to the bioactives. Okay, treatment guidelines again. So mild pigmentation, 1 treatment every 2 to 3 weeks, 10-minute application. Severe hyperpigmentation, we would do 1 treatment every month or 4 weeks. I think depending too on the Fitzpatrick scale of the skin, what that pigmentation is, we need to just look at it. And again, it says 5 minutes, but then you can build as they get used to the product, or they start to build a strength towards it. You know, their skin, when the healthier the skin is, the better it adapts to products. So you'll find that if the skin's health is really good, the stimulation or the tingling sensation will start to soften, because the skin's integrity or the health, the strength of the skin is a lot better. It's usually people that with a very broken down acid mantle or barrier of the skin, it's usually they're the ones that feel it a lot more than someone that's got a good health of the skin. Important to remember, Asian skin is thinner than ours. It has a weaker protection barrier and is more prone to inflammation and hyperpigmentation. So when you're treating Asian or darker skin, treatments might be spaced out a little further than people of Caucasian colour skin. So it's just to avoid overstimulating the skin. It's just to help build the strength, as I mentioned, and a slower approach is better than going in gung-ho and, you know, too much, and it can upset the skin. Okay. Problematic skin. Okay, so again, it has that polymetric delivery system, and we have a glycolic acid, we have salicylic now, and we also have the willow bark. We have more, we have some lactic acid to keep the moisturizing benefits of the skin. But you can see from the acids, they're more into removing dead skin and taking away clogged pores, cleaning out the skin, and helping to control the oil breakout of the skin. So it's very exfoliating and decongesting of the skin. It improves skin texture, gives a more smoother and take away that thickening look that or that sallow look that a more problematic skin can have, and also help to reduce pore size or refine pore size. You really can't alter pore size, but when it's clean and not clogged up, this pore size is more refined, and the skin looks more refined and healthier, so more even toned to it as well. Again, same application as the hyperpigmentating SRC, so you were using a sponge application. It also, this one is left on a little bit less, up to 7 minutes, but we'll have a look at that. So again, starting on the top part of the skin and top part of the face, I should say, sorry. In the circular movement, we have got, it comes with the sponges, you work it around. Again, because of the salicylic acid, they will feel more of a tingling effect because of the BHAs being on top of the skin surface first. So they do feel it a lot more. And it can be a bit more tightening effect because BHAs tend to feel a bit more tighter and drier. And sometimes they can get a little bit of peeling in certain areas, or maybe very rarely, but they might get a bit of frosting because of the BHAs. Acne-prone skin, 1 treatment every 4 weeks, 5-minute application. Again, you can build, okay? Active acne, so if the skin is inflamed and there, you can do a treatment every 2 weeks. If you have LED, this is excellent to do with an LED. So you could do the peel followed by an LED, and the blue light or the red light is really good. The red light, you can alternate. The blue light, of course, works on, it's antibacterial, works on the surface, more on the surface, on the P. acnes, but the red light works on anti-inflammatory as well. So if the skin is very inflamed, a red light will help to soothe and calm the skin afterwards as well. And cellular turnover. So you can easily, but make sure the skin is clean before you go into the other steps. So once you've neutralized, you would blot dry the skin before you go on to moisturizers or masking if you're going to follow through with a alginate mask or anything like that. You would do the light then, okay? Okay, so caution, okay? It is still time, it is still a time-dependent peel. So discretion is to be used depending on skin conditions. Always start at the standard time of 5 minutes if you're not sure. You can then build, okay? So you learn, you'll see the skin. As I mentioned before, the skin talks to you. The skin will tell you how it's going. Expect to see a bit of frosting around the open pores or around, especially the nose area, around the mouth, bigger patches. neutralize when the frosting appears on those areas, and just read the skin, work with it. And as I said, start with 5 minutes, and it starts the moment it goes on. Okay, so not once you finish, 5 minutes start. So time it and work with 5 minutes when you're working with it, because remember, especially acne skin, the cheeks usually are very inflamed if they've got severe acne, and if they've got hormonal and all through the neck area, they're the most irritable areas. So the 5 minutes will start from when you go onto the forehead and then work around, so they've got less time spent on the skin. Okay, so the neutralizer plus, in addition to neutralizing the active acids in the NRC, with the new NRCs, is to stimulate and deliver barrier repair, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So the neutralizer not only is neutralizing the SRC, it's also a skin treatment. So it's helping with rebuilding that barrier. It helps to take down inflamed skin. It's an antioxidant, but it also has anti-aging benefits to the skin. So the skin feels calmer, less inflamed, and more hydrated. Anyone that's got this will notice, if you've got both the neutralizer and the neutralizer plus, the neutralizer is very watery because that's what it's just designed to neutralize. The neutralizer plus has got a lovely rich thickness to it, so it puts this barrier protection on the skin, and it delivers ingredients that help to repair and as well as neutralizing. So here we have the active ingredients. Okay, so I don't know how to say the second one. I love it.
Isosterite.
Okay, isosterite and isosterite.
Isosterite, doesn't matter. We call it ISIS. They call it ISIS actually, which is not.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say in Africa, Eunice calls it ISIS, which is really very naughty. But yeah, she calls it ISIS. I mean, the benefits of these two active ingredients is that they not only neutralize, but they treat the skin, as I mentioned before. So they reduce redness, inflammation into the skin, and also it's a post-peel, helps to post-peel discomfort. So it helps to calm that skin straight away and leaves the skin feeling very smooth and very soft. You decant about 2 pumps onto your damp piece of gauze, and you do the pressing method. It's very similar to what you would have done when you do the neutralizer in the bioactive. Okay, so you will stipple all over the skin, and then you would wipe the remaining gauze. So you do that all over the face and neck and décolleté. Okay, afterwards, if you're going to take on your treatment any further, you can do just a peel if the client's time poor, or you can then actually move over into an extra treatment. You can then follow with the alginate mask or a collagen mask, depending on what you're wanting to finish with, and then you would use your pre and post. So that's the hydrating, the basic hydrating after treatment, and then you would always finish with an SPF. Okay. Always go into your consultation. So always fill out your consultation. I don't really need to tell you that. I mean, you know, these are very important to make them fill out their consultation and read it back with them. I know, I mean, you're not doing a fluffy facial, you're actually working and doing a treatment. So you need to look at your, you're doing a cosmeceutical treatment. So you need to make sure you fill out all the forms and consent forms. Make sure that they tell you everything. I mean, how many times, you know, and they, you know, they don't tell you that they're on Roaccutane, or they're, especially for problematic and acne skins, or they've just gone, you know, 2 days ago, have gone and had laser hair removal, or they've had a dermabrasion, or they've done something that is going to you know, they might have gone off somewhere else because they don't want to tell you that they're doing something else. So you need to make sure that you go through all these steps with them, because you are a professional and you want the best for your client. So you need to ask them. It's like when you go to a doctor or anything, you fill out the form, you tell them everything. And also if they've got allergies. And I can tell you a little story that many years ago when I had my own salon, I did the lactic peel. It was, it had just been released, and it was with an opposition company, and it was the rage. And I did a lactic treatment on this lady. She filled out all her forms, everything. I read them, did that. She went home. Next day, her husband came to my salon and wanted to murder me. Her face had blown up to, it took me 2 years to do another peel after this treatment, I can tell you, ladies. Her face blew out to here, the scabs over her face, it was horrendous. He wanted to murder me. The language he used on me, the threatening, he was horrible. He was so aggressive. I was a mess. I rang the company, and because I followed all the protocols, the company stood by me. And that's what you've got to understand too. If something goes wrong, if you follow the protocols, you've got our backing, you've got NIMUE's backing. Even South Africa, we will stand by you, we follow through with you. So I had the backing of the company. They were very good for me. They rang, they consulted the lady, she's blah, blah, everything. Anyway, he was horrible. He wanted to sue me, whatever. And a long story short, eventually all this scabbing, all this peeling came off her. Now, you do not peel like that with the lactic peel, but she did. And she came back and said, I've never had such beautiful skin. I want another treatment. Well, I freaked out and said, no way will I touch your skin again. Mind you, it was beautiful underneath. And, you know, I sat and talked to her and I said, what is it that would have caused this? What did you do? Where did you go? What? And she told me she was lactic intolerant, severely lactic intolerant, not just mild. She was full on lactose intolerant, and she didn't put it on her form. So that's what I mean when I say you've got to make sure the client tells you everything. And honestly, it took me 2 years to do another peel. It frightened me so much because he was so aggressive. He was so threatening. It was horrible. And I mean, we've all, for us that have been in the industry for a long time, we've all had a client that's gone a bit, you know, horrid on us or whatever, but it really is, you know, quite a horrible traumatic experience. Okay, so let's look at some of the general precautions. Okay, eliminate any contraindications and or precautions. Customer must, your client must remove soft contact lenses prior to treatment. Avoid holding your pods or your thing over the client when you're doing it. Avoid application of active products on the client's lips and nostrils. And I will let you know why, because I try, you know, as therapists, we try everything. I put it over my lips because I wanted to see what was going to happen. And my lips blew up. I thought, oh, this is good. It's cheaper than having injectables. But the next day, my lips peeled completely. I was so sore and peeled. It was horrendous. But I did it on purpose. I wanted to see if I didn't put the balm on, what would happen, because I wanted to work around near, you know, fine lines near the lip area, and it peeled as it dripped onto the lips. Clients should always have their eyes closed through the treatment. If you get any into the eyes, you do the, flush the eyes out. Use gloves when applying any treatments, but in this day and age, and with the COVID and everything, when we get back on track again, I'm sure that's something that we all have to do now anyway. And explain to your client, talk to your client, tell them what they're meant to expect, because if you don't, and then they feel the tingling, they won't believe you that it's part of the treatment. You must say it from the moment, you might experience this. Okay, so looking at the treatments we've got here, provides progressive and superficial resurfacing of the skin, stimulates epidermal growth through the removal of damaged starch corneum, improves skin texture, and you've got your 3 classifications. I've also got how you can use them, and I've got some treatment protocols for you. The treatments of the SRC may only be used on clients that have been on NIMUE phase 1 and 2 home care. It is not one of those treatments that can be used first time. You must be cautious of darker skin types, so your 4, 5, and 6. You're environmentally damaged, avoid using on problematic skin or interactive skin. In NIMUE, interactive is sensitive skin. Hyperpigmentation, avoid using on problematic skin or interactive skin. And we don't have the P1 here, sorry. That's obviously one that they have over there that we don't. Contraindications, very sensitive skin and severe capillaries, dermatitis, eczema. Anyone that's on any form of vitamin A's like Roaccutane or even oral vitamin A's, at least 6 months off those products, or even doctors note, I wouldn't touch anyone that's been on really full-on retinol products. Cortisone, or any skin resurfacing laser or deep peeling programs in the last 8 weeks. Any fillers or Botox, they say to wait 4 weeks. Fillers I probably would, because you don't want to be massaging a filler that's just been put in. Botox is, look, it all depends. Different stories. 4 weeks is just safeguarding yourself. Probably could do 2 weeks and they'll be fine. Any open skins, skin lesions, skin infections, if they've just done some waxing, electrolysis, or any shaving, at least have a 3-day break. Uncontrolled diabetes, do a patch test to see the sensitivity of the skin. Compromised barrier really means probably broken skin, open skin. Hormonal skin, so just again, if you've built them up on, like, we were saying before, if they've used phase 1 and phase 2, I think you'll probably be safe to go into hormonal skin. It's just a precaution. I would look at that and just work it out. Allergies to aspirin, the problematic range has got your salicylic and your willow bark. Again, it didn't put it there, but for me, a precaution I wouldn't do a pregnant lady. Not because it's dangerous, but pregnant women are very sensitive, hormonal, and it's just, I wouldn't, the skin can be all over the place. I just wouldn't do one on them. So I would say come afterwards or whatever, but I would give them other treatments that would suit them, caring for their skin while they're pregnant. So the treatment, you would do your consultation, you cleanse your skin with cleansing gel, you apply your conditioner, prep the skin by using your lip balm or some form of, if you don't have lip balm, Vaseline, some form of barrier protection around the eyes and the lips. You would then use your tetraenzymatic exfoliator. Then they used to prep the skin with an alcohol pad. NIMUE used to have these alcohol pads, but you can use the you might have some little sterile pads, in your salon, your antibacterial pads or something, just to defat the skin, clean it. So there's no water, there's no, just a clean surface. It gives it just that active, it makes it more active for them. Again, apply some more lip balm on the lips and around the eye area, and then choose the treatment that you're going to use. And then you would use your neutralizer after the treatment's been on. If you have any of your TDSs, you can use that under an alginate mask. And then you would do your aftercare hydrator or hyaluronic acid gel, and finish with your SPF. Okay, so your post-treatment guidelines would be to avoid makeup application for at least 3 hours before. Do not use active lotion or gel on that night. If you go home that night to, just let the skin rest. Always wear an SPF and reapply if you're outdoors, and just prolong sun exposure. I probably, this is a good time to be doing peels, but unfortunately for us Victorians, we're in lockdown, so we can't do our clients. But this is a good time before summer really hits, so prepping the skin, getting it ready for the festive season if we have one. But whatever, winter is a really, really good time to do a lot of these active treatments and things like that. But you can ethically do them in summertime if you know your client will look after their skin and follow the protocols for home. Reduce the use of conditioner and active lotion over the next few days, so not go heavy-handed, just build it back up. And if the client has any persisting any of swelling, redness, irritation, to contact you. And as I mentioned before, if you've followed the protocols and everything you've done is right and they've filled out all their information, you can always rely on us as backup to help you. And, because you never know what they do when they get home, some clients. Okay, so wait at least 3 days before waxing or any of those sort of treatments, and full client cooperation is needed to achieve a result. So what that's saying is we shouldn't just do if they really got a concern, you will want to prescribe a prescription for them and to treat that problem and to follow with home care. As we know, home care is 60% of the treatment that you're providing in your salon. So here is some home care treatments that you can do. So this is just, again, a guideline of prescription. So again, do not overstimulate the skin. Duration between treatments is something that you will work out with them too, and a slow and gradual process is better than jumping in there with guns blazing, and just work with the skin. Okay, so someone with an environmental damaged skin, these are some of the treatments that you can offer. So a 6-week treatment. Treatments can be done every 3 or 6 weeks, depending on the skin sensitivity, phototype, and age of this client. You can incorporate 2 active rejuvenation treatments, which is your bioactive. So they can have 2 of those to build up some strength, followed by 4 SRCs. Okay, and you would space that and you build it up, starting at 5 minutes on the first SRC, and then gradually, by the time they're on to the second last one, they'd be on the full 10 minutes. Okay, and that's something you would build up with them, plus their home care. Okay, if they've got hyperpigmentation as well as they're concerned with aging, which is a lot of us more mature people, you can do different treatments here. So you can introduce a 6-week program, again, starting them off with 2 bioactive treatments or active rejuvenation treatments. Then you can start with 4 environmental damaged ones and 2 hyperpigmentation ones. You can change them around. I've just put together, you know, swapping them each time, and then the last 2 would be the environmental damaged ones. But then again, you would, this is just a guideline, you would prescribe your client what you feel is right for them. If they're more concerned with the hyperpigmentation, you might change it around and do 2 environmental damaged ones and 4 hyperpigmentation. So you will work that with your client. So people with hyperpigmentation, 6-week program, again, 2 active rejuvenation treatments and 4 NIMUE-SRC hyperpigment treatments, just to again build up their resilience to appeal by using the bioactives. Again, every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the skin sensitivity and the phototype of the skin. And if you want to do a 12-week program, I sort of broke it up with 5 rejuvenation and 7 SRCs. So it's, again, how you want to play. You might even it out and do 6-6. You might do 8 HP and 4 rejuvenating ones. So again, your choice, but these are just some guidelines for you. Problematic skin. Okay, again, 6-week treatment. I would do 3-3, building their skin up, getting it strong, because they've got very sensitized, and one day, you know, 1 week you might see them in their full-on pimples, then they come in the next time and it's lying dormant. So you would build and work around the activity of the acne on their skin. And a 12-week program, I've just sort of played around with it and allowed, I've done 6-6, but again, it's your choice. And that's our wonderful day.